We're counting down the top receivers according to league executives. See the quarterbacks, the running backs, they had all their fun. Let's get into this. We're starting with Tyreek Hill at number 5. Since 2017, he's had 15 total touchdowns where he ran 20 miles per hour or more, 8 more than any other player. At number 4, Odell Beckham Jr. He remains one of the best deep threats in the game as his 29 targets on throws of 20 yards down the field ranked second last season. Now, Arizona Cardinal DeAndre Hopkins ranks in at number 3. He made 112 catches in man coverage over the last 2 seasons. Second in the NFL behind the receiver at number 2, who is Michael Thomas. He led the league with an NFL record 149 catches last season, finished with 1,725 yards, 7th most in a season all time. And so who's your number 1? It's Julio Jones. He is one of just 4 players all time with at least 7 seasons of at least 1,100 yards in receiving in his first 9 years. All of them great. Let's take a look at the best of the rest. Davante Adams in at number 7. Keenan Allen, number 8. Amari Cooper at 10. 2 weapons for Tom Brady up there as well. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin at 6 and 9, respectively. We have got to talk about this with our guys, Dominique Foxburg, Joey Galloway, Jeremy Fowler up now. Jeremy, I'll start with you. This is your reporting. You've been all over this. These rankings are amazing. Yep. I love them. Odell Beckham Jr.'s placement on the list is curious considering this dip in production he's had as of late. So what are folks around the league saying about him?
Well, Odell got a few number 1 votes, Ryan, because a lot of coaches still see his highs being higher than anybody else. I've heard that he's the most complete receiver when he's really on with his lower half, with shifting and moving and run after catch. He can do things that nobody else can. But the problem is he hasn't had many highs since 2016 when he was on a Jerry Rice type pace. Since then, you got 13 touchdowns in the last 3 years, basically a fringe 1,000-yard receiver. The biggest problem from several voters with him is that the mental gymnastics on the sideline, constantly looking frustrated. One veteran NFL player told me, at some point, it has to be him. He has to be the problem if he keeps looking frustrated and his teams keep losing.
I find that so interesting, Jeremy. And Nick, I want to turn to you on this. We talk about the frustrations we see on the sideline. I wonder where you are on Odell Beckham Jr. and how much you see these frustrations as being the real thing, or a guy, as we talked about before, who is just passionate and trying to make the play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to blame a receiver for a team's record, but I do understand that some people are turned off by all the things that come with Odell. It doesn't seem to bother me, but I'm not on the roster, and I haven't heard many of his teammates or ex-teammates say that what he did was the things that he does is a problem. I know that his first 3 years were like comparable to Randy Moss. So you can give me that level of talent, and some of the similar things were said about Randy Moss until he found himself in a better situation. So the same thing could be said for Odell Beckham. So he is incredible talent. I think number 5 is too low for him, but I understand given that he's coming off of kind of a tough season.
All right. And Joey, I want to turn to you. What's your take on Odell?
Number 1, it's hard to play receiver, okay? That might be the most difficult position to play in football.
Wait, says the receiver.
So many things have to go
right. All right. Go ahead.
Exactly. So many things have to go right offensively before the receiver gets a chance to make his play, whether it's blocking, play call, quarterback, running back has to do his job, and then the receiver gets his chance. So it's difficult to do. I think coaches look at what they think of receivers and how they prepare for teams. When defensive coaches have to sit down and prepare to stop an offense, what they have to do to take away that number 1 receiver, I think is how coaches look at where they rank these guys. Now, he's been banged up. He's been in Cleveland in a situation that hasn't been great offensively. So I really believe that the respect level that he gets, he deserves. And we'll see that as this offense gets better, as Baker Mayfield gets better, as they get used to one another. They were extremely talented offense, but guys know that it isn't about talent all the time and winning in the NFL. It's about how well can your team play with their talent. And Cleveland wasn't very good at that. They will be better, and Odell Beckham will prove that he deserves to be a top 5 receiver.
Yeah, Odell, by the way, ranked number 4 in this poll. By the way, before we get to my next topic, can we just take a look at Joey's background here? I mean, are you out of a Gold's Gym or something? What's happening here? Like, is this in your home?
Hey, This is in my home, and honestly, this is probably the best investment I've ever made is having my own weight room. But honestly, at my age, I need to be in a completely different room because this room is killing me.
Man, you got the Smith machine. He's got the Stairmaster. He's got the ball. I'm coming over your house for a workout. Why am I paying membership?
That's right.
Don, by the way, I got to have you. Can I just have you weigh in? Joey talked about the
receiver comment. That position
yes,
is easy.
I
Let's
want
be serious.
that. Go ahead.
Let's be serious. Receiver, probably after kicker and punter, easiest position in football. Like Joey's argument for why it's so hard is because everyone else has to do their job. That means you're dependent on these other players. You want a hard position, play corner. That's tough. That's tough. You have to do the same thing or try to do the same thing receivers are doing without knowing what's coming, all while backwards. Like, I don't even think this is worth a debate. Everyone knows that corner is the hardest physical position in football.
Joey?
Here's the thing about corners. They don't have to study. What do you have to do? Go out there and cover that guy. Or you stand in that area of the field and make sure that nobody comes over to your area to catch a ball. I mean, honestly, if they tried to get me to move the corner when I was in college, and I said, you know what, I like a challenge.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged, so I'm going to stay at receiver because I got to deal with said corner across from me and not only deal with him, but he always has help. He has a safety, he has a linebacker, the defensive ends. I'm telling you, corner might be the easiest position on the football field.
Okay.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.